Established by a young gentleman called Mawande Mdluli in 2006, the Groomer Movement aims to revolutionize the status of men around the world. Mawande has recently published a book that gives a broader scope on what it means to be a well-groomed gentleman, titled The Groomer, A Gentleman's Guide. He now joins us in studio to tell us more about this movement and a brand new book. It's great to have you on Morning Live. First of all, you look impeccable. It's great to have you in studio.
It's lovely to be here. Thank you very much.
Let's talk about your book, The Groomer, A Gentleman's Guide.
Yes.
What do you see that was lacking in our society that gave you the idea to write such a book?
No, so it was just a realization of, all the social epidemics that we're facing in our society. So things such as women abuse, child abuse, rape, suicide, domestic violence. A lot of these epidemics happen because we don't have enough well-groomed members, not just men, but members in society. So I just felt a need to, change that and revolutionize, the status of the members of society.
And so what is a well-groomed member of society? What do they look like? What are their mannerisms? What do they think about the world around them? Bring us into that.
Okay, so one thing that I did in the book, I think it's the last chapter, I have something called the Gentleman's Oath. So that literally gives a guideline as to what is a well-groomed man, things such as respect, honesty, integrity, self-love, perseverance. All these things build a well-groomed gentleman. So I made a really, impactful gentleman's oath that I feel like if every man followed, we would literally have a better society.
I'm so glad that, when you look at grooming, you also don't just focus on the aesthetics part of a person, but also you speak to the character traits that actually build a person, which is phenomenal. But how would you define a well-groomed person? How do we see this person? How do we experience that person in a society?
So I always say that in order for you to be a gentleman, you don't necessarily have to look like a gentleman. You just need to love yourself and look like you love yourself. So you can't necessarily say that, okay, this is a poorly groomed person, just by looking at them. It's in their actions. And if you are not following the gentleman's oath, that means that you are poorly groomed and you need some grooming.
All right. Why are you so passionate about, say, for example, gender violence, gender-based violence that you say is owed to just men in society not being gentlemen or being the gentleman that they could be?
Well, I define myself as a humanitarian by nature, groomer by blood, and gentleman by choice. So as a humanitarian, these things affect me, and I feel like everyone in society should be affected by these things, because even if it happens, even if there's like a young lady that has been raped and she's not my sister, I mean, that affects me. If there's a young boy who is doing drugs, that affects me. If there is a mother out there who's being abused by, her partner, that affects me as a humanitarian. And that's why I'm so passionate about this whole movement. And that's why I feel like, we really should work at revolutionizing the status of men in the world.
Bring us into just some of the men that you have looked up to, or the men that have helped you become the man that you are.
Well, obviously, the whole groomer concept states that everyone's a groomer in society, right? So either you're a mother, father, sister, brother, or even a complete stranger, you're a groomer in society. So my main groomers were my parents, because, they supported me throughout my whole life, basically, and I've always looked up to them, and they've always given me the constructive influence to make me the person that I am today. So it is through their grooming that I am a groomer.
And so how do people join in this groomers movement, this gentleman club?
Yes. So it's not necessarily a club, right? Because, as I said, everyone is a groomer in society. It's the thing is, you can either be a constructive groomer or a destructive groomer, you see. So everyone is a groomer in society. And if you want to change the status of our society, we all need to realize our responsibilities as groomers in society so that we can actually make an impact.
All right. And so when can people get your book?
Okay. My book is out, and you just need to say info@thegroomersa.co.za or just thegroomersa.co.za to get through to the book.
All right, Mawande, thank you so much for having come on the show.
Thank you very much for having
great.
me. Lovely.
That's author and social activist and humanitarian Mawande Mdluli. He's been speaking to us about his book titled The Groomer, A Gentleman's Guide.